Hello Virgo, and welcome to your new moon lunar cycle insight reading for the new moon in Pisces, the March new moon. And of course this is a very intense lunar cycle, a very intense new moon, because we have Mercury retrograde beginning just hours before. We have Uranus shifting signs for the first time in 84 years, just hours before the new moon. So the reading this month, and all of the readings this month, will be focusing on mostly these two energies, as the Mercury retrograde cycle is going to take us right up through until March the 28th. Mercury won't actually leave his shadow and leave the sign of Pisces until the 17th of April. So we have almost 9 weeks of Mercury in Pisces, which is interesting. And of course, Uranus shifting into Taurus. It's, for most of us, a once in a lifetime experience. So the shift of Uranus into a fresh house of your birth chart is setting the tone for the next 7 years. So there's lots of big energies at play this month, and I'm going to talk you through how they're going to affect you as a Virgo sun or a Virgo rising or even a Virgo moon. So let's look at these Pisces energies. So Pisces, being your opposite sign, is the ruler of your 7th house. So Mercury going retrograde here affects you most profoundly in the area of relationship. The 7th house is where we meet the other person as a mirror. It's our connection with our partners, with our friends, even with our family members, business associates. It's the Libra ruled house. It deals with all kinds of social connections, contracts and commitments. So at the beginning of the month, at the beginning of the lunar cycle, we've got Mercury stationing retrograde on the final degree of Pisces in your 7th house. We've got the new moon in Pisces, so Sun, lunar goddess, conjunct Neptune, and the asteroid Vesta in the 7th house. So we can see that there is a huge emphasis here on emotional release, on catharsis, on forgiveness and compassion, which for you, Virgo, focuses on your relationships. So during this period, you may find that there is a rising up of memories, of thoughts, or even maybe seeing in your physical reality people that you used to be in relationship with in the past. And these interactions, these memories, these meetings can bring up some deeply buried stuff that needs releasing, because Pisces is this energy of dissolution, of surrender, of washing away the old. So we're really looking at here a letting go. You know, events that happen that cause us to let go of the wounds that have hurt our hearts in the past. We can be really looking at our addictive patterns in relationships, you know, issues of codependency, issues of boundaries. Service and sacrifice are 2 key words when we're working with Pisces and Virgo energies. So this can be a time when you're feeling very sensitive energetically, and you're becoming very aware of where your relationships are unequal or are unbalanced, where you're taking on the role of caregiver, of healer. So these are all issues that will come up to be cleared over the coming cycle. It's a really profound opportunity to kind of wash the slate clean of old programs and patterns around how we relate to other people. So if you're not currently engaged in a relationship, Virgo, this can be a deep cleansing that prepares you to meet somebody new. You know, we can wash away those barriers around our heart so we can open it again from a place of purity and innocence. So we're looking at this kind of simultaneous energy here with this new moon of a new beginning, but first we have to let go. So this is a good time to set intentions, to let go of what isn't working in your partnerships, in your contracts, in your business commitments, and begin to look at new ways of doing things. And it's important to remember that things will not become clear really until after Mercury leaves Pisces. So although he stations direct on the 28th of March, he's going to be in conjunction with Neptune again. He's going to have to go back through the second half of Pisces before he hits Aries mid-April, as I said at the beginning of the video. So we can't expect complete clarity for a little while. It's more a process of surrender and letting go of control. So this can be a big lesson for you, Virgo, because being the opposite of Pisces, you can be a sign that likes to have things in order. You know, there can be some micromanaging behavior that comes through the Virgo polarity. And Pisces is about embracing the unknown, embracing the chaos. So if we can just surrender to what is happening and be with our feelings, letting go of the need to analyze, the need to control, the need to have everything the need to know, basically, the need to know what is going to happen in the future. The more we can surrender to the moment, to the now, the easier this journey is going to be for you. So also around the time of this moon, we have Uranus changing signs. So for the past 7 years, Uranus has been moving through Aries, which is your 8th house, Virgo. So this has been an energy of, liberation from old conditioning around 8th house themes. So being the Scorpio, Pluto ruled house of the birth chart, Scorpio deals, and the 8th house deals with everything that is taboo, with everything that is hidden. So we can be looking at, over the past 7 years, liberation from old beliefs, old patterns around our sacred sexuality, around our shared resources, around what it means to be intimate with another person. Perhaps we have felt our fears of intimacy rising, but ultimately that transit should have connected you to your deep, authentic truth about your own inner needs, about what makes you, what initiates the spark of desire within you. So as he leaves Aries, he is going to cross into Taurus, which is your 9th house. So a fellow earth sign, Virgo, and if you're an early born Virgo, you will be receiving a trine from Uranus straight away. All of you will receive it at one point during the 7 years, but it will depend on the degree of your sun or your moon or your other Virgo energies. So this is a really interesting energy because Uranus is quite happy in the 9th house. The 9th house is the house of spiritual connection, the higher mind, and Uranus is also very much associated with these energies. He is the lightning bolt of inspiration. So he comes into the 9th house where you have some quite firmly entrenched beliefs, being, having the 9th house ruled by Taurus, which can be a very stubborn sign. So this can be a time when you're breaking through old patterns, old limitations. Your mind is expanding, your spirituality is expanding. You are getting ready to break out of your comfort zone and move into new horizons. Perhaps you'll feel an urge to travel, to explore different cultures. Perhaps you'll take on a new form of study or learning which expands your mind. Maybe you'll become a revolutionary teacher. Maybe you'll find a revolutionary teacher that breaks down the old order, the old deeply entrenched, programmed mental patterns into something that is much more expansive and progressive. So this is the time to welcome in the new, particularly in the areas of spirituality, teaching and learning. So if you are, as I know many people who listen to these videos are, a spiritual leader, a pioneer, a teacher, you know, you've got your workshops and courses going, or you're building something for yourself in the area of being a teacher, being a new thought leader, then this can be a really positive transit for you. This can bring in some really exciting new energy. So be prepared to let go of the old ways of working. Perhaps you'll have to let go of some old people that you have been working with, that you've been collaborating with the energies happening in your 7th house as well. So an exciting period of transition. As we come to the equinox point, around the 20th of March, Virgo, you will be having a full moon in your 2nd house as the sun moves through your 8th house. So this is another period for you of, you know, really reevaluating your worth, reevaluating the patterns that may be holding you back from truly receiving financial abundance. And it's very interesting that we've got this Libra moon, this Venus-ruled moon in your 2nd house, which is again very much to do with collaboration and connection. So maybe there are some old connections that you feel are no longer supporting you in loving yourself. So we need to look at our relationships and think, is this connection really valuable to me? Does this person really value and appreciate me? And do I really value and appreciate them? Because sometimes, you know, we can become, when we've been in a long-term relationship, we can become complacent. So we really need to think about how we're being treated and how we are, you know, working with others. Are we open to that, or do we feel like we have to do everything ourselves? Are we open and receptive to support? And are we really owning our worth in our partnerships? You know, are we really being treated in the way that we feel we deserve? Is our energy being reciprocated? So these are all questions to ponder through the month as we go through this process of, you know, complete reawakening. There may be some powerful downloads that come in for you as Uranus enters the 9th house. So be sure to write them down. Be sure to take note of them, because we're going to be taking action on them later in the year, you know, as we head into Taurus season. Obviously with Mercury in his current backward state, nothing is, you know, really moving forwards as such this month. It's not a great time to initiate new things, but more a time to turn within and surrender to what is. So I'm going to pick a card for you, Virgo, from the Goddess Oracle by Amy Sophia Mahershinki, just to bring culmination to this reading. Interesting. So this card is actually one of my very, very favourite goddesses, Blodayaweth. She is a Welsh goddess. Her name actually means flower face. In Welsh mythology, she was actually created from 9 blossoms by the magicians Gwynion and Math. And she was created to be what is known as a flower bride to the sun god Lu. And Blodayaweth was originally created to please man. You know, she was created to be this subservient creature But as the story unfolds, and I recommend looking into it if she is calling you, she develops a mind of her own and she falls in love with somebody else and she betrays Lou. There's a lot more to the story. So yeah, dig deeper if you feel called to. But ultimately, Bladioeth represents liberating ourselves from people-pleasing behaviors, liberating ourselves from twisting ourselves into knots trying to please somebody else or to be who other people want us to be, so that we can find our true self. In the end, she actually gets turned into an owl, so she represents both sides of the feminine, you know, this beautiful flower bride, queen of the May, queen of the blossom. We celebrate Bladioeth in Taurus season at Beltane, and also the owl witch, the dark mother, the scorpionic energies. So she is both things, and the word here on the card is betrayal. But don't be afraid of that. You know, we've been talking about a lot about relationships, and really what this card is speaking to is how are you betraying yourself by accepting less than you are worthy of in your connections, in your work, in your business, in your prosperity consciousness. So this can be a real upgrading time for you, Virgo, as you really start to realize that you are worth much more than you have been allowing yourself to receive, and a time of really letting go of the limitations in your life, the way that you have been self-sabotaging, holding yourself back, worrying about what other people want, what other people like, and coming into your true, authentic power. So there's Bladioeth, the owl goddess and flower bride. So thank you so much for listening to me, Virgo. If you wish to connect with me further, you can check the links below this video. Thank you so much for watching, and blessed new moon.